everyone, I'm Sandiya from LS Chem.
I'm Ryanne from Core.
And I'm Joanna from Core.
Welcome
back to our channel!
It's the back to school season and today we'll be sharing with you on how we are preparing for this new semester. So without further ado,
Let's get started!
So we have some questions prepared for us to answer. Firstly, do you think it's important to prepare yourself for a new semester?
Yes. I do think that it's important to prepare ourselves for a new semester. Preparation for a new semester involves resetting through like meeting up with friends, like catch up on Netflix, catch up on sleep, especially after finals week, and catch up on your hobbies or interests. I do believe that it allows us to start off on a new blank slate in the coming semester. How about you, Ryanne?
For me, I take a slightly different angle because I do believe that for different types of people, depending on the way that you organize, depending on to a certain extent your personality, you're gonna deal with the semester a bit differently. Right? For me personally, I like to forecast what is coming. In other words, it's a bit like premeditating the difficulties that might lie ahead in the semester. During vacation time especially, I kind of use it like, okay, just from a personal point of view, I use it as like an excuse for me to chuck away all my good habits, things like sleeping, meditating, exercising, or simply just having a bit more discipline. All that goes out the window. It's important to prepare beforehand.
I think for me, most importantly, it's about spending as much time as possible with your family, because if there's one thing I neglect the most is family time during the semester. So in this 1 month, or for summer holidays, you have 3 months, it's really good to spend time with your family, spend time with your friends, and also catch up on your own personal hobbies and just catch up on your personal reflection per se, because you will have a lot of things a lot of difficulties especially that you meet with during the semester, and because of the rigor, the academic rigor, you forget to actually just sit down and reflect on your own actions or reflect on the different things that you face in life. So it's really important to have that personal time, which we all lack during the semester.
Yeah. But then we have mod rec, so we must not forget to plan the modules ahead for the next coming semester. So yeah, guys, remember to do that.
Yeah, what really helps also is having like a central location where you keep everything so that you know what's coming for the semester. So I'm not sure if y'all know, but like the school actually gives us like 3 different calendars. And one of it is like your academic calendar, so that tells you when recess week and all that is. The second one is your individual timetable, and then the third one is the mod rec calendar. So if you can put all those dates into just one central location for you to keep track of it throughout the semester, that would certainly be very helpful. I know I have friends who don't do that. Like, I don't know how they keep track of stuff. Because your semester is so packed, right? And then if you don't keep track of important dates like mod rec, etc. There was one semester where I almost missed one round of mod rec, and then that affects the entire semester. So
It's very crucial because it basically sets your tone for the next semester if you don't get the modules you want. So the second question, what can you expect when starting a new semester?
Oh, I know. The one thing that always gets to me is you would think that you have everything. You have your stuff all together, and then you have your life together in the first 2 to 3 weeks of school, and then you're like catching up on all the lectures, pre-lecture recordings. Yeah, I got it. But the turning point is around slightly before recess week. Then you start to realize, okay, I can't make it for this lecture, but it's okay. It's just one slot. But sooner or later it starts to build up. So by week 8 or week 9, right, you're skipping every single lecture.
Wow, that is something I don't want to be involved in.
Yeah,
but I'm also guilty of it because that's usually what happens at least in year 1, semester 1 for me.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that I can manage 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. classes, but as the weeks go by, you tend to be more tired. So you need to factor these in when you are creating your own timetable for the new semester. So don't always be over ambitious, especially after Sem 1. You kind of already can gauge for yourself what's a best timetable like for you, or what's the best combination of modules for you. So it's really important to look into that also.
Yeah, I agree with what they said. Like factoring in the fact that you're gonna get a bit more tired throughout the semester, I think something that ties pretty well into that is also knowing that from week to week your priorities are gonna be different. So in general, the first few weeks would be prioritizing things like CCA and other extracurriculars that you might have. And then towards like the middle or the end of the semester, that's when you really hunker down on your academics. So I guess it's also not being too hard on yourself, because like it's almost an impossible task, at least from my point of view, to get everything done like
you
all
need
the
to
time.
you need to
like to stay
prioritize.
consistent.
Yeah, you need to prioritize what kind of things you want to get done in that particular week. Yeah, so for example, during the week leading up to finals, as you can see, we are all from LSS. So LSS has many things going on. It's a CCA. When the entire semester you're so preoccupied with LSS events, and then like in the weeks like leading up to finals, you are still kind of thinking about it. But then you have to prioritize your own academics as well. I think you have to be able to balance. The bottom line is be able to prioritize things that matter.
Yeah.
These advices are just really easy said than done. Like I can say it all the time, and then the next semester I'll literally be living these.
Exactly. It's like I've been through 5 semesters, and I don't dare to say that I've gotten ahead of it all, but yeah, it gets better towards the end.
But I think the best thing that we can do, knowing that we will definitely face these challenges for the upcoming semesters in the 13 weeks that we have, is that to have a really good support system. So no matter how busy your week gets, like trying to keep track of people who are taking similar mods with you, or similar lecture slots or whatsoever, or just like friends that you have met from your previous mods, so that you can study with them, have like study sessions to keep yourself in check also, so that you don't feel like you're left alone to suffer just the difficulties of the sem
positive peer
itself.
pressure. I
Yeah,
guess.
positive.
Yeah.
So that will really help you feel more calm and relaxed amidst all the stressful occasions within the semester. Yeah. What are some habits you adopt for the semester?
I think for this semester, I mainly gave in to a temptation of spoiling myself, but not like spoiling myself materially,
right?
Sorry. Okay, diving back. I meant like spoiling myself in terms of sleep and taking care of myself. So for me, I can't really stand doing work like long hours at a time. So I will just head off, and then I will tell myself that it's okay to take time off, like for maybe like 2 hours to go to a gym and then like do some sports, or like maybe go eat some good food and then go right back into work the night later. So I do think that it's important to spoil yourself, and like maybe a few hours is okay. What is a few hours compared to like studying half a day? Like seriously, it's nothing. So don't be afraid to take time off for yourself. I think that's a very good habit to have.
I think for me, no matter what happens in the semester, I'll never give up on sleep. Like I think for myself, no matter how many modules or how many commitments I have, I really believe that sleep is that one thing that will help me feel energized the next day, and it's not about how many things I get done. So even if like, for example, there's a day when like I only come back from school at like, let's say 8 or 9 p.m. and after dinner and all that stuff, I don't really have time to do work and I'm extremely sleepy, I'll always give in to myself and like let myself sleep first, because I can always wake up the next day and start earlier. So I can always like come to school earlier and just like do work, because I will definitely be more re-energized. And I think a lot of people have come to me and said that, oh, this semester I'm only having 4 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep. I don't know to what extent it's like a bragging piece of information, but it's clearly something not to be proud of. It's something that you should be working on, and I'm personally someone who was guilty of that in my first few semesters here, and I worked on it and I made sure that I will at least have 6 to 7 hours of sleep, because that's really the bare minimum you should get.
It's like sometimes when you're like, oh, I only slept 3 hours or 4 hours, or
look at my
for example,
eyes.
oh, I'm very busy. Like these things are badges of honor that I think probably do us more harm than they do us good. Because if you're sleeping 3 hours every night and then you're incredibly like unfocused while you're studying, then
What's the point?
what's the point?
purpose.
It's like it's much better to dive deep into your work, because like I read a book.
Oh my
This is equation in Cal Newport's book called Deep Work.
I put it here.
And it's time times your intensity of focus is equals to productivity. Intensity of focus is premised on things like sleep, things like having a healthy diet, exercising, and for me personally, meditation helps every morning because I tend to have like a lot of anxiety about school stuff. In a way, it's kind of like often misunderstood because people think like, oh, you just sit there and then you're not really doing anything.
Or forced.
And then people, the first thing that people often think about is, oh, like I can't possibly just sit there and do nothing. But that's not exactly what's happening when you're meditating. Because when you're meditating, it's a time for you alone in the morning before you go out and meet everybody.
Yeah.
When school ends, it's often pretty late at like 6 p.m. or something. And then you go back and then you still have to catch up on all your lectures and all that stuff. Having that time alone in the morning, I think, is incredibly important.
I think academic-wise though, I don't know about you guys, but I actually do take lecture notes. Please don't follow
Oh
me.
yeah, okay, yeah, study habits.
But you see, there's evidence about how taking notes in lecture doesn't actually help.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Research back.
so like study tips, right? Just want to focus on active recall and spaced repetition. And when you combine those two things, but it also depends on what you're studying. So if it's like memorization heavy, for example, spaced repetition is very important. There's this dude called...
Oh my god, I'm speaking to a philosopher.
Because right, last time I studied, like I struggled with academics, so I had to go and like find out how to do better. Apparently there's this dude called like Ebbinghaus or something, and then there's a forgetting curve. I hope I didn't get his name wrong. After you memorize something on the first day, you want to go back to it on the second day, and then after that a week later, and then a month later, or something like that. In order for something to stick in your mind, you need to be consistent. So for memorization heavy subjects, that will be very important.
You brought up a very fair point actually. Actually, you can see this in motion. So like, I know a lot of us teach tuition. Okay, so like, okay, I'm pretty sure, right? If you ask anybody who doesn't teach tuition, right, can they remember their secondary 3 biology stuff? They probably couldn't. But those who actually teach tuition, right, because they're always revisiting with their student, so it's always fresh in their brain. Tuition is a very good evidence of spaced repetition. So like, actually maybe can consider that advice.
Yeah, so that does mean that by the time you get to the end of the semester, you would probably have gone through your material 3 or 4 times, and then it's just there.
It's just
and then
there.
during exam, you just pour it out.
So I guess you don't take any notes during the lecture. You also don't. You also don't.
I annotate just to pay attention because I fall asleep. Just to
I
keep me
mean,
awake.
for those who are like me, don't even attend lectures, right?
You just outing yourself.
Okay, but it's okay. It's okay because sometimes not attending lectures because you want to spend that 1 or 2 hours in something else that is more meaningful. It's completely fine because like what Ryanne said earlier, every week has its own list of like priorities and deadlines and etc. So if you need to focus on that and like temporarily let go of the other modules, it's completely fine and it's normal. And as long as you catch up on it later before exams or the assignment for that module, then that's good enough in itself. But make sure that you check that the lecture is being recorded. Don't skip lectures that are not recorded.
That is true. So I know for 1K or 2K modules, those assignments are more lecture content based. So I would say that annotation always works, keeping track of what the lecturer is saying. Try not to fall asleep because like don't really have to go back to watch recordings because those waste like extra like 2 to 3 hours of time. And then for the 3K to 4K modules, assignments start becoming more report based or like essay based. You can't like take lecture content and then like copy and paste it into your assignment. So what I would suggest doing, if the lecture content is too complex for you to get in the lecture itself, I would say you should always have a mindset to go back and try to Google terms that you don't know. Yeah, I feel that university is a very like independent learning kind of process. It's very different from junior college. I think maybe like polytechnic is like more used to independent learning, and university is like that. So I would suggest taking a more active role in your own learning.
Make sure you connect all the dots within the semester.
Yeah.
So whichever studying habits help you do that, just use it. I mean, there's a lot of different study tips that is even like online. You can use the Pomodoro method for all you know.
Correct.
Or you can study with your friends, or if you want to study in the library or alone in your house, and try to like just find your best version of like studying, because you already have one semester, so probably in semester 2 you would be like at least more aware of what works best for you.
I would say don't feel guilty about what your learning style is. Do whatever that helps you to retain the information better or help you write better essays.
And most importantly, try not to be like peer influenced to do things that you are not comfortable with. So there might be some peers who might feel like, oh, you know, we should spend more time hanging out first and then studying. Or there might be some peers who like, you know, prefer to go out in the day and then reach home later at night because they tend to study better at night. But if you are not that kind of person, it's okay to step out. And to not follow the crowd especially, and to just follow your own studying habit, because in the end of the day it's your own portfolio, it's your own school life, and you shouldn't let other people control it for you. So that's the most important tip that I have for semesters.
Correct. Yeah, same. We hope that you enjoyed this week's episode, and whether or not you're in primary school, secondary school, junior college, polytechnic, or university, or postgrad studies, we hope that you guys are ready for another new semester in school.
To see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos.
Be sure to follow NUS Life Sciences Society at
Instagram,
Telegram,
Facebook.
bye!